Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I'm glad you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, MOODY Awori made a terrible mistake when he chose to come from his retirement to throw his weight behind politics again. Word has it that MOODY Awori was promised something that would make him politically relevant, and in exchange, he would help convince Kenyans to support Kenya Kwanza. I'm saying so because there is a video that surfaced online about Mudavadi paying MOODY Awori a visit. And MOODY Awori, after that meeting, came out and made certain disturbing sentiments that could only show that he was on the path of defending this Kenya Kwanza government, because the statements that MOODY Awori stated or released in that press was that he was telling Kenyans to now give William Ruto a chance to implement manifesto. Because of course Mudavadi stated that they top international politics, that leaves me with one mind-boggling question. Why is Mudavadi running scared? Why? I want to share with you two videos, ladies and gentlemen, and I request you that you take time to watch them. Then we will do some analysis on these two videos. So take a moment and watch these two videos.
That what we campaigned for as we presented our manifesto, that is the Mama Mboga, must be the main focus of our operations. So I'm happy, and as you can see, he's as firm and stout as ever. So this is really good, and we thank God that he's with us. Thank you so much.
My son, he has always been like my son, found time to come and talk to me. We emphasized one point, that Kenya Kwanza won the elections on its manifesto, and the manifesto emphasized the interest of the ordinary mwananchi.
Ukichukua chupa ya maji na useme bottoms up na uweke chupa namna hii, sio ni kusema maliza kabisa. If you did this and you say bottoms up, this is the bottom. Mtu anameza kila kitu. Na mwananchi atapata nini? And how are you going to finance this economy? Ya kusema bottoms up. Kwa sababu ushuru pia umegonga wananchi.
Yes. So you've seen those two videos. One of them, MOODY Awori. The second video is from Mudavadi when he was not in support of William Samoei Ruto. There's a reason why I've decided to share that second video. So the two videos, one is from MOODY Awori supporting the manifesto. Another one is from Mudavadi denouncing that manifesto, though it had not been launched. So now two things. But first, I want to remind Uncle MOODY Awori of a story from African books. So a long time ago, the hyena and the hare got on really well. Then one thing happened that ended their friendship once and for all. The truth is that hyena was in fact a cunning creature. She only pretended to be the hare's friend, using him for her own gain. They often went fishing together, and the hyena always fed on hare's catch. One day, the hare pulled out an enormous fish. He said, "I'm going to eat it later. Tonight's dinner is going to be really rich." While the hyena's mouth was watering, she knew she would do better not to think about the delicious fish for the time being. I have decided to share that small part of that story of hyena and hare went fishing, but hare caught a very big fish. But he knew that hare would want to feed on this fish, so he said he would feed on it later. I am trying to relate the story of MOODY Awori and Mudavadi to the story of hyena and hare, whereby MOODY Awori is seen to be supporting Mudavadi and the Kenya Kwanza, and I know in politics nothing comes for free. Moody Awori could not have just come from the, slumberland, from his retirement, to simply support William Samoei Ruto's government. Something must have been promised to him. But one thing that I'd like to remind Moody Awori about is that this is a government that promised literally everything. You can be promised a job in the AU, you can be promised a similar job that Raila Amolo Odinga resigned from. But the problem or the question is, will you get it? You can be promised tenders, but the question is, will you get those tenders? So Moody Awori, I see a scenario whereby Moody Awori has been used and he will probably be dumped, just like what we saw with Kivutha Kibwana. Kivutha Kibwana was dumped after being used. So Moody Awori has been fooled to come to the public domain and declare that the manifesto of William Samoei Ruto is the reason why he got elected. I mean, that's an unfortunate remark for someone who has retired from politics. He ought not to have dragged his name in matters politics. Politics, you tread carefully because it might come back to you and eat you. So back to that story of hyena and hare. Maybe Mudavadi thinks he will eat that big fish. The big fish is the many tenders, many appointments, ambassadorial jobs being given to, these political retirees. He might think that that will be done. But kitu ajui ni kuwa he has been hoodwinked into denouncing Raila Amolo Odinga's cause and supporting Kenya Kwanza. There's a part I read where Moody Awori was telling Raila Amolo Odinga to stop demonstrations. It is funny because when I thought Moody Awori would just come out and say that Kenya Kwanza government, despite the fact that you are in government, you should give the people right to demonstrate, right to picket, right to air out their grievances peacefully. But the mere fact that Moody Awori did not point about that, never pointed about that attack on Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's farm, only positions him as one person who is out to campaign for Kenya Kwanza. So the question is, why is Mudavadi running scared? But I personally, I expected that move. I expected Mudavadi to pay Moody Awori a visit so that Moody Awori can support him. Because of course we know, in fact, of course we know that Mudavadi is nothing without UDA. Mudavadi is nothing without that position of a prime cabinet secretary. I consider this move as a political sideshow from Mudavadi because that move will not yield anything positive or change the narrative that this Kenya Kwanza government has not been able to deliver almost 1 year down the line. In fact, the only thing that Mudavadi has done for this nation was to create an illegal office for his spouse so that they can continue eating at the expense of poor Kenyans. One thing I know for sure is that Moody Awori has made a terrible mistake dragging his name in the mud in the Kenya Kwanza politics. Dragging his name in the Kenya Kwanza politics only makes him an enemy of the people. He ought to have stayed neutral, probably advised the Kenya Kwanza also that you people need to give Kenyans the right to demonstrate. You also supposed to deliver to your manifesto, and your manifesto was 100 days reduction of prices, but that manifesto inakuwa shortchanged. That is what Moody Awori failed to notice, that Kenya Kwanza is not delivering, and that's the reason why the Azimio Kenya Alliance could not wait for anything. They cannot wait for this government to keep on shortchanging Kenyans. That's why they took to the streets. So Moody Awori failed to notice that that is the reason why a Kenya Kwanza government is being fought left, right, and center. He ought to have advised the government to give media freedom. He ought to have advised the government not to beat the people, but provide security to the people who are demonstrating. So, ladies and gentlemen, kindly share out the text below the comment section. Once again, I'd like to urge you to stay safe and stay blessed until we catch up again in our next analysis.